You know what they don't tell you about life? It's not a movie. There's no background music when you're down. No slow motion montage that makes the pain feel poetic, and no guaranteed happy ending just because you did the right thing. Life is raw, it's messy, and it's brutally honest about one thing. You will learn the hardest lessons in the hardest ways possible. But here's the twist. Most people never really talk about those lessons until it's too late. They sugarcoat the truth because it's easier to stay comfortable than to admit the reality that not everyone you love will love you back. Not everyone you trust will be trustworthy, and not everyone you help will be grateful. And the sooner you accept that, the freer you become. Think about it. How many times have you bent over backwards for someone, only for them to act like you didn't do enough? How many times have you poured your heart into a friendship or relationship, thinking it was mutual, only to discover the other person was just taking? You can lie down flat for people to walk over you, and some will still complain you're not flat enough. And if that stings, good, that's your first sign you're waking up to how this world really works. The truth is, 80% of people don't care about your problems. The other 20%, some of them, are secretly glad you have them. That's not meant to make you cynical. It's meant to make you selective. Stop wasting your time looking for the good in everyone and start looking for good people. There's a difference. And here's another cold fact. Nobody's walking in your shoes but you. Not your parents, not your partner, not your friends. They might support you, they might cheer for you, but they can't live your life for you. That means the responsibility and the freedom is all yours. You can't outsource your happiness, your growth, or your decisions. You have to do what's right for you. Because here's the thing. Every second you spend comparing your life to someone else's is a second you've thrown away. That's not poetic exaggeration. That's math. Every moment you envy their car, their job, their relationship is a moment you could have been building your own. And while you're busy comparing, the clock is ticking and you don't have as much time as you think. One of life's cruelest tricks is making you believe you can get to it later. Later to chase that dream. Later to say I love you. Later to fix what's broken. But later is a thief. And one day you'll realize it stole more from you than failure ever could. Here's the part that most people avoid saying out loud. Life isn't fair, and it doesn't care about your feelings. You can be a good person and still get hurt. You can work hard and still fail. You can love someone with everything you have, and they can still walk away. And yet, none of that means you should stop loving, stop working, or stop caring. It means you learn how to set boundaries, how to value yourself, and how to keep going anyway. You see, every person in your life is a teacher. Some will teach you how to love, how to trust, and how to support. Others will teach you exactly what to avoid, what betrayal feels like, and how to spot a red flag before it's too late. Both types are valuable, but only if you're paying attention. If you're waiting for a perfect moment to change your life, you're already behind. You can start over anytime you want. You can reinvent yourself today, right now, without asking anyone's permission. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to question whether you're making the right choice. You're going to wonder if you're ready. But let me tell you something. If you've never questioned yourself, you're probably not taking big enough risks. And while we're here, stop mistaking loyalty for self-destruction. Peace of mind is worth more than any relationship that demands you shrink yourself to keep it alive. You can be single and at peace, or you can be with someone and miserable. Choose peace, because life isn't about finding people who never hurt you. It's about building the strength to stand back up when they do. It's about knowing your worth even when someone else doesn't. And it's about refusing to let anyone or anything make you believe that you're not enough? So, here's my promise to you. In this video, we're going to strip away the fluff, the motivational cliches, and the Instagram quotes, and talk about the truths most people don't want to hear. The truths that, once you accept them, change everything. Here's one of the hardest pills you'll ever have to swallow. Most people don't actually care what you're going through. I'm not saying that to be cruel. I'm saying it so you can stop being surprised when you find out it's true. About 80% of the people you open up to, they're either too caught up in their own lives to really listen, or they're politely nodding, waiting for their turn to talk. And the other 20%? A few genuinely care, but some are quietly enjoying the fact that you're struggling. It makes them feel a little better about where they are. Once you really let that sink in, you stop expecting the world to be something it's not. You stop assuming that people owe you empathy just because you'd give it to them. You stop being shocked when someone you thought was in your corner disappears the moment things get tough. And when that expectation disappears, something powerful happens. You stop bleeding your energy into the wrong places. You stop wasting hours trying to convince someone to understand you, to validate you, to see things from your side. Instead, you start looking for something different, not the good in everyone, but good people. That's a subtle shift in words, but it's a massive shift in your life. Looking for the good in everyone means you'll excuse red flags, you'll explain away bad behavior, and you'll cling to the smallest scraps of decency in people who've already shown you their true colors. But looking for good people, that's intentional. That's about finding those rare ones who don't just say the right things, they show up consistently in good times and bad. And here's the truth. The sooner you stop expecting everyone to care, the more you'll notice who actually does. This doesn't mean you harden into someone bitter and cold. It means you become someone selective. Because life will teach you over and over that pouring into the wrong people is like watering a dead plant. No matter how much you give, nothing grows. You've probably felt it before, that sinking frustration when you're giving everything to a friendship, relationship, or even family connection, and the other person treats it like it's nothing. You might bend over backwards, make sacrifices, and think, if I keep showing them my loyalty, they'll appreciate it. But all that does is set the stage for disappointment. And here's the kicker. Even if you lie down flat so they can walk over you, some people will still complain that you're not flat enough. That's not about you. That's about them. It's about their inability to be satisfied, no matter what you do. That's why you have to stop confusing approval with connection. Approval is conditional. Approval says, I like you when you fit my expectations. Connection says, I value you because of who you are. And you'll waste years of your life chasing approval from people who wouldn't cross the street for you when it mattered most. Now, this isn't a free pass to shut yourself off completely. You can still be kind. You can still help, but do it from a place of choice, not obligation. Give because it aligns with your values, not because you're hoping it will finally make someone see your worth. Because here's the harsh reality. The people worth keeping in your life will already see your worth. You won't have to audition for their care. You won't have to keep proving yourself over and over like you're on trial. They'll show up because they want to, not because you've begged them to. And once you learn that, you start protecting your energy differently. You don't rush to tell everyone your struggles because you know not everyone has earned that level of access. You stop giving the most vulnerable parts of yourself to people who've done nothing to deserve it. You save that for the ones who've shown you they can handle it with care. It's like building a garden. You don't plant your best seeds in rocky, barren soil. You find the fertile ground where things can grow. And in life, that fertile ground is trust. mutual respect, consistency. When you shift from expecting people to care to choosing who you give your energy to, you stop being a victim of constant disappointment. You start creating a circle where love and loyalty flow both ways. And the beautiful part, you'll find that when you stop expecting everyone to care, the people who actually do become so much more obvious. So, let go of the fantasy that the world owes you understanding. It doesn't, but you can build a small corner of it that does, and that's enough. If there's one lesson life will keep hammering into you until you finally get it, it's this. Your worth is not up for negotiation. Too many people live as if their value depends on someone else's approval, a partner's affection, a boss's praise, a friend's validation. And the danger in that is simple. The moment those people stop giving it, you start questioning yourself. You begin to wonder if you're less lovable, less capable, less worthy. But here's the truth. Someone else's inability to see your value doesn't erase it. Think about it like this. If someone hands you a $100 bill and you crumple it up, stomp on it, even tear the corner, it's still worth $100. The abuse it takes doesn't reduce its value, and neither should yours. The only way you lose your worth is if you give it away willingly. And this is where boundaries come in. Because boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about keeping the wrong people from getting too close. We live in a culture that treats boundaries like selfishness. We're taught to be agreeable, to go along to keep the peace, to not make things awkward. But the reality is, every time you ignore your own needs to keep someone else comfortable, you're sending them a silent message. My comfort matters less than yours. And trust me, people will take that message and run with it. Here's something you might have learned the hard way. Peace of mind is worth more than any relationship that demands you sacrifice it. You can be single and at peace, or you can be with someone and feel constantly anxious, undervalued, or disrespected. And sometimes we stay in those situations because we tell ourselves, they'll change. They'll realize my worth. But here's the harsh reality. If they can't see it now, they probably won't see it later. Boundaries are the filter that separate people who genuinely respect you from those who just want access to you. And setting them will test every relationship you have. Some people will push back. Some will accuse you of being different or distant. That's fine. People who benefit from you having no boundaries will always see your new limits as a problem. But that's the point. Boundaries expose who's really for you. You teach people how to treat you, not by what you say, but by what you tolerate. If you keep allowing disrespect, guess what? It will continue. If you keep letting people overstep, they'll see it as permission. But when you draw a clear line and you hold it, you show them your self-respect has a backbone. And here's something no one tells you. Boundaries aren't just about other people. They're also about you. It's easy to point the finger outward, but you have to set limits on yourself too, on the way you speak to yourself, on the way you overextend yourself, on the way you break your own promises. Because the fastest way to destroy your self-confidence isn't by letting someone else hurt you, it's by constantly betraying yourself. That's why saying no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Not no as in a spiteful rejection, but no as in a deliberate choice to protect your time, your energy, and your mental space. Every no to the wrong thing is a yes to the right thing, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. And here's the kicker. The people who genuinely love and respect you will not only accept your boundaries, they'll appreciate them, because your boundaries tell them, I know my worth and I respect myself enough to protect it. That kind of self-awareness is magnetic. On the flip side, The people who get angry, manipulative, or distant when you set a boundary, those are the ones who only valued what they could take from you. I know it's tempting to keep the peace, to avoid the confrontation, to let it slide just one more time. But every time you do, you're teaching them that the slide is permanent. So here's the bottom line. Your self-worth is non-negotiable. Your boundaries are the terms and conditions of your life. If someone can't accept them, they don't get access to you. It's that simple, and it's that hard. Here's something life will keep throwing in your face until you finally stop fighting it. Growth is never comfortable. In fact, if you feel too comfortable for too long, you're probably not growing at all. It's almost cruel when you think about it. We crave stability, predictability, that safe little routine where we know what's coming next. But the moment you get too cozy there, life has a way of shaking the ground under you. A job loss, a breakup, an unexpected challenge. And while it feels like chaos at the time, that's usually where the growth happens. The truth is, life will keep handing you the same problems until you learn the lesson they're meant to teach you. Ever notice how you attract the same type of toxic friend, or you keep ending up in jobs that drain you, or you repeat the same bad habits every time you're stressed? That's not bad luck. That's life putting you back in the classroom until you pass the test. And here's the thing most people won't admit. The hardest lessons often come dressed as the hardest moments. Pain teaches you patience. Betrayal teaches you boundaries. Failure teaches you resilience. Every time you get hurt, you gain something. If you're willing to look for it, it might be a sharper instinct, a stronger spine, or the courage to finally walk away from something you've outgrown. But we fight discomfort like it's the enemy. We numb it, avoid it, run from it, anything to get back to that safe little zone where nothing changes. And that's exactly why so many people stay stuck for years. They want change without challenge, progress without discomfort, success without sacrifice. It doesn't work like that. Real change almost always starts with an uncomfortable decision, the kind that makes your stomach turn and your hands shake. Quitting the job that's killing your spirit, leaving the relationship you thought would last forever, moving to a city where you don't know a single person. You'll doubt yourself. You'll want to turn back, but deep down you know staying the same is worse. And here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes growth doesn't feel like growth in the moment. It feels like loss. You'll lose people you thought would be in your life forever. You'll let go of habits that once brought you comfort. You'll watch parts of yourself fade away, the people pleaser, the one who always played it safe, the one who kept their opinions quiet. That's why growth hurts. You're grieving old versions of yourself. But every time you shed one, you make room for something better. Think about the times in your life when you truly leveled up. Maybe it was after a heartbreak, after hitting rock bottom financially, or after failing at something you thought was your calling. At the time, you probably thought it was the worst thing that could happen. But looking back, you see it for what it really was, a turning point. And here's the beautiful, frustrating part. Growth rarely comes with applause. People won't always notice how far you've come, and some will even resent it. You'll lose friends who like the old, easier version of you. You'll be criticized for changing, as if staying stuck was somehow more noble. That's okay. You're not here to make everyone comfortable. You're here to become the strongest version of yourself. When you finally stop fearing discomfort, you realize it's a sign you're alive and moving forward. That knot in your stomach before a big decision, that's growth knocking. That unease you feel when you step into something new, that's the exact feeling you need to chase, not avoid. Because comfort is seductive. It whispers, "Stay here, you're safe." But what it really means is, stay here, nothing will change. And if nothing changes, neither will you. So start asking yourself better questions. Not, how can I make this easier? But what can I learn from this? Not, why is this happening to me? But what is this trying to teach me? The moment you make peace with discomfort, you stop running from the very thing that's trying to transform you. And in time, you'll see that every storm, every challenge, every sleepless night was shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and far more capable than you thought you could be. Love is beautiful, but if we're being honest, it's also one of the most misunderstood parts of life. We grow up on movies, songs, and stories that make it seem like love conquers all. That if you just care enough, give enough, fight enough, you can make it work with anyone. But here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Love alone is not enough to sustain a relationship. You can love someone with your whole heart and still find yourself miserable. You can pour everything you have into them and still watch the connection fall apart. Why? Because love without communication, respect, and mutual effort is like planting seeds in dry soil. Nothing grows. I've seen people stay in relationships long after the joy is gone, just because they still love each other. They think the feeling is enough to keep things alive. But feelings fade when they aren't fed. And if you're the only one feeding them, you're going to run out of energy fast. Here's another hard truth. Not everyone who says they care about you actually does. Some people love the idea of you, the convenience of you, or what you can give them, and they'll stay close as long as you're meeting their needs. But the moment you stop, whether it's because you're tired, busy, or finally setting boundaries, you see their true colors. That's why you can't just listen to what someone says. You have to watch what they do. Do they show up when you need them? Do they follow through on their promises? Do they treat you the same when you're struggling as they do when you're thriving? And here's a big one. People don't always change, but their masks fall off. At the start, almost everyone tries to show you their best self. They hide the parts they think might scare you away. But over time, the act gets harder to keep up. That's when you see who they really are. And when that happens, believe it. One of the most freeing things you'll ever realize is that losing someone isn't always a loss. Sometimes, not getting the relationship you thought you wanted is the best thing that could have happened. The wrong person leaving your life makes space for the right one, or for you to finally focus on yourself without constant drama and disappointment. And yes, sometimes you'll be the one who has to walk away. That's never easy. We like to think holding on shows strength, but in reality, letting go is often the braver choice. It means you're willing to face loneliness now instead of years of unhappiness later. Here's where love gets even trickier. The more you like yourself, the less desperate you become for someone else's approval. When you truly know your worth, you stop chasing people who make you feel like you have to earn their love. And the moment you stop chasing, you start attracting better connections. You also start seeing that not everyone deserves the deepest parts of you. Just because you've been friends for years doesn't mean they should have access to every detail of your life. Just because you're dating someone doesn't mean they get to dictate who you are. Your heart is valuable. Not everyone gets a key. That doesn't mean you close yourself off completely. It means you learn to give love with open eyes. You set boundaries early. You communicate clearly. You pay attention to red flags instead of painting them white. Because ignoring warning signs out of hope or fear will cost you far more than the pain of walking away early. And here's the final truth about relationships. The right ones don't drain you. They don't leave you guessing. They don't make you feel small. The right love makes you better, not because it fixes you, but because it supports the best version of you. Until then, remember this: you can be single and peaceful, or you can be attached and miserable. The choice isn't always about finding the right person. Sometimes it's about becoming the right person for yourself first. Everything in your life starts and ends in your mind. Your relationships, your career, your health, your happiness, all of it flows from the way you think and the way you follow through. And if you don't take control of those two things, life will do it for you, and you won't like the results. Here's the truth. Mindset is the steering wheel. Discipline is the engine. Without the right mindset, you won't even start the journey. Without discipline, you won't finish it. Most people get this wrong. They wait for motivation thinking that when they feel ready, they'll take action. But motivation is unreliable. It's a burst of energy that fades the moment life gets inconvenient. Discipline is what keeps you moving when the excitement is gone, when nobody's watching, when it's boring, when it's hard. The problem is, discipline doesn't feel good at first. It feels restrictive, like you're denying yourself comfort and pleasure. But over time, discipline doesn't take away your freedom. It creates it. You stop being a prisoner to impulses and bad habits. You stop being at the mercy of your moods. And here's the hard part. To truly master your mind, you have to get honest about what you feed it. Every thought you dwell on, every piece of media you consume, every conversation you engage in, it's all shaping your mental state. If your mind is constantly full of fear, comparison, and negativity, don't be surprised when your life starts to mirror that. That's why inner peace begins the moment you stop letting other people control your emotions. If someone can make you angry just by pushing your buttons, they own you. If a stranger's comment online can ruin your whole day, they own you. The more control you give away, the more chaotic your life feels. This is where discipline ties back in, because it's not just about what you do, it's about what you allow. You need the discipline to walk away from arguments that go nowhere. The discipline to avoid gossip and drama that drag you down. The discipline to protect your mental health as fiercely as you protect your physical health. And when it comes to progress, forget perfection. Perfection is a trap that keeps you from even starting. Aim for progress, small, steady wins that stack over time. One workout, one honest conversation, 1 hour of focused work. You might think those moments are too small to matter, but they're the building blocks of every big achievement. Here's something else most people don't realize. Your self-worth is directly tied to the promises you keep to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and don't, you chip away at your confidence. Every time you break your own word, you teach yourself not to trust yourself. That's why discipline isn't just about achieving goals, it's about building self-respect. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Your mind will try to bargain with you. Just skip it today. You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. But tomorrow is the biggest scam life sells you. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. So here's the question. How badly do you want the life you say you want? Bad enough to work for it on the days you don't feel like it? Bad enough to make sacrifices now for a payoff later? Because what you want most will always compete with what you want right now. And without discipline, the short-term win will win every time. When you train your mind and build discipline, you stop relying on willpower alone. It becomes automatic. You start making the hard choice, not because you have to, but because it's who you are now. And that's the shift that changes everything. Because in the end, mindset is the vision, discipline is the bridge, And every day you cross it, no matter how slow, no matter how imperfectly, you're building the life you used to only imagine. There's a moment in life when you finally stop pointing fingers, and that's the moment everything changes. Until you take full responsibility for your life, you're handing the steering wheel to someone else. And here's the kicker. Most of the time, they're not even qualified to drive. It's easy to blame other people for where you are. The parents who didn't give you the childhood you wanted, the boss who overlooked you, the partner who broke your trust. And sure, those things might have hurt you. They might have even set you back. But the truth? None of them are responsible for what you do next. That's on you. Here's the danger in blame. Every time you hand it out, you also hand away your power. If your problems are someone else's fault, then you're also saying the solution is in their hands, and if they never fix it, you're stuck. That's a trap, and it keeps people stuck for decades. Taking responsibility isn't about ignoring the bad things that happen to you. It's about deciding that they don't get to define you anymore. It's looking at your situation, no matter how unfair, no matter how painful, and saying, okay, this is where I am. What am I going to do about it? And here's the part nobody likes to hear. You will make mistakes. You will mess up. You will sometimes be the villain in someone else's story. The difference is, when you own it instead of running from it, you learn, you grow, you fix what you can, and you let go of what you can't. Personal responsibility also means getting brutally honest about your choices. That includes the little ones, because your life isn't shaped by just a few big decisions. It's shaped by hundreds of small ones you make every single day. It's the choice to scroll for hours instead of working on your dream. The choice to stay in a relationship that's clearly over. The choice to keep saying yes to things that drain you. None of those happen by accident, and the sooner you admit that, the sooner you can change them. Here's the thing. You will never be 100% sure about any decision, but making no decision is still a decision, and usually the worst one. You can go back and fix a wrong choice. You can't fix staying stuck in the same place forever. Responsibility also means owning your reactions. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. That's where your real power lives. You can either react in a way that makes things worse, or respond in a way that moves you forward. And yes, sometimes taking responsibility will make you the bad guy in someone else's eyes. They won't like that you stop playing the victim. They won't like that you stop taking the blame for things you didn't do. They won't like that you stop making excuses for them. But here's the truth. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will never cheer when you finally draw them. There's a certain freedom that comes when you stop waiting for rescue. You stop expecting life to be fair. You stop hoping for someone to swoop in and fix everything. Instead, you pick up the pieces yourself. You learn new skills. You find new opportunities. You rebuild one step at a time. And when you do that, no one can ever take it from you. Because here's the bottom line. No one owes you the life you want. You have to build it. And the sooner you stop waiting and start doing, the sooner you'll realize that you are far more capable than you've ever given yourself credit for. Personal responsibility isn't about being perfect. It's about being accountable. It's about recognizing that your life, your choices, and your future are in your hands. And that's not a burden. That's your superpower. We live in a world that worships instant results. Fast food, same-day delivery, 30-day transformations, everything is about speed. And that's exactly why so many people quit when things don't happen overnight. They think slow progress means no progress. But in reality, the long game is where the real wins are made. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Anything worth having will take longer than you want. Building a career, mastering a skill, creating a healthy relationship, improving your health, none of these things happen in a week. They're built brick by brick, choice by choice, day after day. Patience isn't passive. It's not just sitting around and waiting your turn. Real patience is active. It's working hard without obsessing over how fast you'll see the reward. It's showing up consistently, even when there's no applause, no instant feedback, and no visible payoff yet. Think about a tree. When you plant the seed, nothing seems to happen for a while. You water it, you protect it, you wait. Under the surface, roots are spreading, getting strong enough to support the growth you can't see yet. If you dig it up after a week because you're not seeing results, you'll never know what it could have become. The same thing happens with your goals. The early stages are invisible progress. It's the gym sessions that don't change the mirror yet. The business calls that don't turn into clients yet. The hours of practice that still sound messy. If you quit here, you never make it to the part where it all starts paying off. The long game also forces you to separate what you want now from what you want most. What you want now is easy, comfort, distraction, short-term pleasure. What you want most requires sacrifice, discipline, patience, and a willingness to endure boredom without quitting. And boredom is a killer. People think they fail because they can't handle pain, but more often, they fail because they can't handle repetition. Doing the same small, consistent actions over and over feels dull. But that's exactly what compounds into results over time. Here's where the long game gets even more important. It teaches you resilience. When you play the long game, you expect setbacks. You expect obstacles. You expect detours. And because you expect them, you don't get derailed by them. You just adjust your route and keep moving. Most people lose not because they can't win, but because they stop too soon. They misinterpret slow as stuck and walk away right before the breakthrough. And the worst part? They'll never know how close they were. The long game also protects you from ego. Fast success builds arrogance. You start to believe you're untouchable, that you can't fail. But slow success, that builds character. It keeps you humble because you remember the grind it took to get there. And humility will protect your wins long after you've made them. Patience isn't about waiting for perfect conditions. It's about building regardless of conditions. You won't always feel ready. You won't always have the ideal environment. But if you only work when it's convenient, you'll never get anywhere worth going. And yes, playing the long game will be lonely sometimes. People will doubt you. They'll question why you're working so hard without seeing results yet. They'll try to convince you to take shortcuts, but shortcuts rarely take you to the same destination. And even if they do, you won't be ready to handle it because you skip the growth that comes with the process. That's the thing about the long game. It's not just building your goals, it's building you. Every day you keep going, you're becoming the kind of person who can handle the success when it arrives. And that's far more valuable than getting it quickly and losing it just as fast. So stop obsessing over how far you have to go. Focus on the next step, then the next. Trust the compounding effect of small, consistent effort. And remember, fast success fills your pockets, slow success fills your life. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Spend it carelessly and you'll end up bankrupt, not just emotionally, but mentally and even physically. We often think of protection in terms of money, possessions, or even our physical safety. But how often do we think about protecting the one thing that fuels everything we do? Your energy shapes your mood, your decisions, your relationships, and your future. Yet, most people give it away without thinking. Here's the truth. Not everyone deserves a piece of you. Not everyone gets to have access to your time, attention, or emotional investment. If you treat your energy like it's unlimited, you'll spend your days drained, resentful, and wondering why you never have anything left for yourself. Protecting your energy starts with recognizing the drains. Some are obvious, toxic people, constant complainers, those who take without giving. Others are sneaky, overcommitment, saying yes when you mean no, doom scrolling on your phone for hours. Every one of these is a slow leak in your energy tank. And here's the hard truth. Some of those drains are people you care about. Friends, family members, even partners. That doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you learn how to love them without letting them deplete you. That might mean setting boundaries, limiting certain conversations, or simply stepping back when you feel your energy being pulled in the wrong direction. You'll also learn that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step away. Walking away from someone who constantly drains you isn't cruelty, it's self-preservation. If they only show up when they need something, if they make you feel smaller every time you're around them, if you always leave the interaction feeling worse than when you came in, that's not love, that's an energy theft. Protecting your energy also means guarding your mental space. Be careful what you consume, the news you watch, the social media you scroll, the conversations you engage in. Your mind is a garden, and what you feed it grows. If you feed it negativity all day, don't be surprised when your outlook becomes dark and hopeless. This also applies to your own thoughts. You can be your own biggest energy drain if you're constantly replaying past mistakes, worrying about the future, or overthinking every decision. Protecting your energy means knowing when to shut off the noise, both external and internal. And here's the thing, not every battle is worth fighting. Some arguments, some criticisms, some rumors don't deserve a response. Every time you react to someone trying to get under your skin, you hand them control over your mood. Remember, silence can be a power move. Protecting your energy isn't just about avoiding the bad, though. It's about intentionally filling yourself with the good. That means spending time with people who uplift you, doing work that fulfills you, creating moments of rest without guilt. It means having hobbies that recharge you, not just tasks that drain you. Sometimes, the biggest shift comes when you stop trying to fix everyone and everything. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can't make someone see your worth if they're committed to misunderstanding you. The moment you accept that, you free up a huge amount of energy to pour into things that actually matter. Here's the bottom line. Your energy is like your phone battery. You wouldn't leave all your apps running, your brightness at 100%, and your GPS on all day, then be surprised when your phone dies by noon. Yet, that's exactly what we do with our lives, running in every direction, giving every piece of ourselves away, and wondering why we feel so empty. So protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Not everyone should have access to it, and not everything deserves it. The more you guard it, the more you'll have to invest in the things that truly move you forward. Life has a way of humbling you, and not always gently. Some of the hardest truths you'll ever face are the ones you wish weren't true, but they are. And the sooner you accept them, the stronger you get. Here's the first. You can do everything right and still lose. That's not a motivational poster. It's reality. You can follow every rule, make every smart choice, put in every ounce of effort, and still watch something slip away. And when it happens, it will feel unfair. But that doesn't mean you failed. It means life doesn't always hand out rewards just because you deserve them. Second truth, Life isn't fair, but that's not an excuse to quit. Some people will start miles ahead of you. Some will have more connections, more opportunities, more resources. You can spend your whole life being bitter about it, or you can decide to work with what you've got and make it count. Because here's the twist. A lot of people with all the advantages still waste them, and a lot of people with nothing build everything from scratch. Another hard truth. The worst enemies often pretend to be friends. They smile to your face, cheer for you publicly, but secretly hope you fail. Sometimes they even help you fail quietly, subtly, in ways you won't see until it's too late. And when you finally realize it, it hurts more than an open betrayal because you never saw it coming. That's why you don't just watch how people act when you're struggling, you watch how they act when you're winning. Here's one that will save you a lot of heartbreak. People remember your mistakes far longer than your kindness. You can spend years helping someone, supporting them, being there through their darkest times. But slip up once, and that mistake might be the only thing they remember. That's not a reason to stop being kind. It's a reason to stop seeking validation from others. Because kindness done for applause isn't kindness, it's performance. And this one's brutal but true. Most people aren't thinking about you as much as you think they are. We waste so much time worrying about how we're perceived, replaying conversations in our heads, or wondering what someone thought about something we said. The truth, they've probably already forgotten. They're too wrapped up in their own lives to analyze yours. That's freeing if you let it be. Here's another reality check. You will be misunderstood no matter how clearly you try to explain yourself. Some people don't want to understand you. They've already decided who you are in their minds, and no amount of explanation will change it. Your job isn't to convince them, it's to keep living in a way that's true to you. One of the toughest truths, not everyone you lose is a loss. We hold on to people because of history, because of shared memories, because of the version of them we met years ago. But sometimes, the person they are now, or the person you've become, simply doesn't fit anymore. Letting them go isn't betrayal. Sometimes, it's survival. And finally, here's the one that changes everything. Nobody's coming to save you. And not your family, not your friends, not your partner. Yes, they might help you, they might support you, but the ultimate responsibility is yours. If you're waiting for someone else to swoop in and make it all better, you're going to be waiting a very long time. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you take back your power. These realities can feel harsh at first, but once you embrace them, you stop wasting energy fighting the truth and start using that energy to adapt. And that's how you win, even in a world that's not designed to be fair. When you strip away all the noise, all the excuses, and all the distractions, life boils down to a handful of truths that most people spend their whole lives avoiding. But you've made it this far in this conversation, which means you're not like most people. You're ready to hear them and actually do something about them. Here's the first closing truth. Luck comes to those who work for it. We love the idea of being in the right place at the right time, but the reality is, those moments usually happen because you put yourself in motion. You showed up, you prepared, you took chances when it wasn't comfortable. The people who look lucky to everyone else are usually just the ones who were willing to do the work long before the opportunity arrived. Second, never depend entirely on anyone else for your happiness. That's not bitterness, it's self-preservation. The moment you make someone else the center of your joy, you hand them the power to destroy it. Relationships, friendships, family bonds, they can all be beautiful, but they're not permanent guarantees. Build a life that you love so much that even if someone walks away, you're still standing on solid ground. Third, time is the most expensive thing you'll ever spend, and you never get a refund. We act like we have endless years ahead of us, but every day is a withdrawal from a bank account we can't see. There is no later guarantee. That project you've been putting off, the words you've been meaning to say, the changes you've been avoiding, they all cost time, and you have less of it than you think. Fourth, you are far more capable than you believe. Your mind will always try to keep you in your comfort zone. It thinks it's protecting you, but most of your limits are self-imposed. You've survived things you thought would break you. You've solved problems you didn't think you could handle. You've grown in ways you once thought were impossible. Imagine where you'd be if you stopped underestimating yourself. And finally, life will never be perfectly fair, perfectly easy, or perfectly safe. And that's exactly why you have to live it fully anyway. If you wait for the right time to start, you'll be waiting forever. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you'll miss every opportunity. The truth is, you're going to fail sometimes, you're going to lose, you're going to get hurt, and it's going to be worth it. Because the alternative is to sit on the sidelines and wonder what could have been. Here's your call to action, and I'm not talking about like and subscribe. I'm talking about something bigger. When this video ends, I want you to take one uncomfortable action toward the life you want, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Whether it's making a phone call you've been avoiding, setting a boundary you've been too afraid to set, signing up for something that scares you, or walking away from something that's draining you, just do it. You don't need permission. You don't need certainty. You just need movement. Because the reality is, most people will watch something like this, nod along, maybe even feel a little inspired, and then do nothing. They'll go back to scrolling, back to complaining, back to waiting for life to change without changing themselves. And a year from now, they'll be in the exact same place. Don't let that be you. If something in this message hit you, if it made you pause, if it made you uncomfortable, if it made you realize you've been selling yourself short, that's your sign. You don't need another one. Your life will never be perfect, but it can be powerful. And it becomes powerful the moment you stop waiting, stop blaming, and start building. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one truth from everything you've heard today and live by it for the next 30 days. Write it down. Put it somewhere you'll see it every day. And when things get hard, because they will, remind yourself why you started. The difference between the life you have and the life you want isn't luck, talent, or timing. It's choice. And right now, you have one to